We start by saying the ethics of human cloning is an important idea in Kazuo Ishiguro's novel Never Let Me Go. So ethics is an important idea to talk about here, and it kind of can be used as singular. That's why we say ethics is an important issue. So ethics is, or we can say ethics are, the moral rules that guide your life. It's what you think is good and bad, what you think is right and wrong, things that you will do and things that you refuse to do because you don't believe it's right. So the idea of ethics in this article is whether cloning people is right or is it wrong? Should we do it or should we not do it?
所以 ethics 就是伦理道德标准的意思。You must have seen the adjective of this word though. Ethical, which is used to describe something that's morally right or acceptable. 所以在这本小说 Never Let Me Go 复制人这件事情是不是道德是个很重要的要点。We also describe this book as a novel.
Yeah, a novel is a book. It's a full, complete story, usually at least 50,000 words long, often very much longer. The other thing about a novel is fiction. So it's not about real or true things that have happened, but which is supposed to have some realistic things. So people, the characters in novels, should feel real emotions. They should act in a logical way. Here's an example sentence. The writer has written 6 novels during the course of her life.
所以 novel 就是长篇小说的意思。刚刚佩老师提到了，起码要500个字以上，或者是更长，我们才可以说它是个小说。We can say he didn't only teach at school, he also wrote novels. 他之前不止在学校教书，他有写小说诶。或者是呢 ，You might as well read a novel instead of staring at the ceiling. 要么盯着天花板，你不妨读本小说吧。So let's look into the ethics of donating.
Yeah, cloning. Yes, cloning, yes. So, ethics of cloning. We see that the debate centers on whether human clones have souls. So, a debate is some kind of discussion when 2 people or 2 sides both try to argue their side of the argument, giving supporting details, facts, evidence, information, and so on to support their opinions. For example, you could have a debate on whether it's okay to let young children have smartphones, or is it okay to have the death penalty, or any other serious subjects like that.
所以 debate 就是辩论、讨论的意思。It is a noun, but it can also be used as a verb. 我们可以说用名词来造个句子的话，就可以说啊 ，They had a debate on same-sex marriage. 他们在同性婚姻上面有进行一场辩论。Or we use it as a verb. Scientists are debating his theory about the disappearance of the dinosaurs. 科学家在辩论他们关于恐龙消失的理论哦。So the article explains the debate a little more by saying, while it's clear to us that they do, Ishiguro pushes the envelope.
Okay, so from the article, we're kind of saying, yeah, of course these clones have souls. They're, they're feeling, they're having all these experiences and so on. So the article explains this debate a little more, saying, while it's clear to us that they do, Ishiguro pushes the envelope. So, yeah, if we read the book, we understand that these clones are real people, they have real feelings, and therefore they should have souls, but Ishiguro pushes the envelope. Push the envelope is a really interesting phrase. What we're going to do is find out about it now by going to our pocket phrase Go!
Pocket phrase Go!
我是女神嘎嘎，我没有极限。I will keep trying to push the envelope. 我将会持续挑战极限。Push the envelope 可不是压着信封了，是要你挑战尺度，突破限制。像我本人呢，就是不断的在创造历史。以我的造型来说呢，我曾经穿过超高高跟鞋，也曾经呢颜料涂满脸，更曾经穿过深肉装。在这个演艺事业里啊 ，If you want to succeed in this business, you have to be creative and always push the envelope. 想要在这个行业生存呢，你必须要很有创意，而且不断挑战尺度，不断突破。这就是我女神嘎嘎。
So, to push the envelope means to get close and even go beyond the limits of what we think is possible. So, Ishiguro could just say, yeah, clones have souls. Here's a few examples. But with his writing, he's used so many extra examples that we, the reader, have no choice but to agree with the fact, of course, clones must have souls. Now, we will explain a bit more about how he does that in a moment, but first we need to check out today's grammar point.
OK， 所以我们来看刚刚那个句子是不是 While it's clear to us that they do， 这个 while 是什么意思呢？我们来找出来啊。那 while 这个字呢，其实还有非常多的意思。那它有虽然的意思，跟 although 的用法是一样的。For example, we can say, While I like the color of the cap, I do not like its shape. 虽然我喜欢这帽子的颜色，不过我不喜欢它的形状。那它除了有虽然的意思呢，还有或者是但的意思，跟 but whereas 的意思差不多。那我们就可以说 I like grapes while she likes apples。我喜欢葡萄，但是她喜欢苹果。那 while 这个字呢，很常用的也有当发生什么东西、什么事情的时候，当的意思。那它引导时间副词子句，都会跟进行式连用哦。那它跟 during the time that 意思差不多。那可以放在句首或者是句中，我们就可以说啊。I'll take care of your baby while you're at work. 你上班的时候，我会照顾你的小 baby.
Okay, so now we're going to move on here and talk about how Ishiguro does everything possible to make us think about whether clones have souls and push the envelope. What does he do?
所以我们刚刚看到。Push the envelope 这个东西，这一个 phrase 呢，它就是有挑战极限的意思。所以意思就是说，这个作家真的想尽办法，要用最大的力气让读者思考复制人是不是真的有 soul 心灵的存在。So the article goes on to say, he makes us think about the idea of humans playing God.
The idea of playing God kind of means like becoming someone with godlike powers to create life, to destroy life, to control life and sort of be the person in charge rather than like be a real person living in the world. Okay, so the article goes on to kind of put forward this question for us to think about. The question is, should we create life and control its outcome if doing so has such terrible negative consequences? So here the word outcome means the end result of something, while the consequence of anything are also the results of that thing. So both the word outcome and consequence are ways of talking about the results of a particular situation.
所以 outcome 就是结果的意思。那我们刚刚有看到嘛 ，negative consequences 就是负面后果。所以它就是一整句的意思，就是在说呢，如果创造生命去控制这些我们生命的结果，会有这么可怕的负面后果，那我们是不是应该还继续做 ？Should we keep doing that?
Well, it's a good question.
Yeah.
We move on to the next paragraph now, which talks about another idea from the novel. It says, the idea of humanity is also important. Now here the word humanity can mean the quality of being humane, that word we talked about yesterday about being kind to others. The word humanity can also be used to mean human beings like us in general, and also what makes people humans, not just things.
所以 humanity 就是人性、人道的意思。昨天也有讲到 humanly 这一个字嘛，那它这个字也是名词。昨天是讲到副词，所以这边我们来看一下，人道也是很重要的哦。We can say he treats the animals with humanity. 他人道的对待这一些动物。So this paragraph explains this a little more. It says the clones start life in a way we don't consider natural.
Yes, they are not born from just their parents making a baby together. They're more like created in a science lab. The article also says, however, they still experience natural human emotions. And the word emotion or emotions means your feelings. It's anger, sadness, sorrow, that word from yesterday, excitement, and so on. Emotions are the things we feel. Here's another example sentence. Steve doesn't show his emotions, so we don't really know how he's feeling about things.
所以 emotions 这个字就是情绪、感情的意思。It's a noun. 那我们来看几个句子。 Does she share her emotions with other people? 她会跟人们分享她的情绪吗？ Or he was unable to control his emotions and burst into tears. 他没有办法控制情绪，就泪崩了。And we often use the adjective emotional as well. So when somebody is emotional, they show their feelings very openly, especially when they're upset. So we can say, it is not good for you to get all emotional at this time. 你这个时候感情用事是不好的。So the article adds more detail saying, the clones love and suffer just like us, but are treated unhuman for how they're born to donate organs and die.
Okay, so these clones, they suffer. And if you suffer, it means you experience something bad. You have something bad or unpleasant happen to you. For example, you could suffer from an illness, you could suffer some bad luck, or suffer an accident. Whatever you experience, it's not good. For example, Barry is suffering from a bad cold, so he won't come into work today.
所以 suffer 就是受苦的意思。It is a verb and it's usually followed by from. We say suffering from something. So we can say people are suffering from the contamination of the water supply. 大家正在受到这个水污染的困扰哦，在受苦当中。And we can also say Tom is suffering from a nervous disorder. Tom 他有精神混乱、神经混乱这一个疾病. So we'll also take a look at the noun suffering. We can use it as a noun as well. Sometimes it's an adjective as well. We can say like suffering dog, a suffering cat, a person, 正在受苦的人、狗或者是猫啊。那我们如果用名词就可以说 this will cause great suffering. 这个会造成很大的痛苦。
Yeah, a lot of people will suffer. But even though these clones suffer, people are like, they're not human, they're just clones, it doesn't matter. Now, in the next paragraph, we talk about another thing that clones go through in their lives, something that proves they are human. We see that, finally, the clones deal with loss.
The article explains, in fact, their whole lives are designed around loss, the loss of organs, human connections, and life.
So a connection is some kind of relationship in which two things are linked. Human connections are connections or links between people. We could be talking about romantic connections, professional connections between co-workers, family connections, and so on. For example, we could say, when I came to Taiwan, I didn't have any connections with people, but I built them up over the years.
所以 connection 就是关系、关联的意思。It comes from the word connect, which is a verb. So we can say the police are inquiring into his connections with the criminals. 警方正在调查他跟犯罪分子之间有没有什么关联哦。那我们可以用这个 connection 再造另外一个句子。There is no connection between the two things. 这两件事情完全没有关联。And we also talked about connect. We can say they're planning to connect the cities with the railroad. 他们计划将城市用铁路连接起来。So the article goes on to say, however, with no way to prevent a loss, they must work to accept it.
Exactly. They know they're going to have their organs taken away. They know their friends will kind of die young, and they know they won't really have much of a human life with real parents. So they can't prevent these things. To prevent something is to stop something from happening. Now here we're saying there's no way to prevent loss. There's no way to stop loss. Of course, we can't prevent people from dying. We can't prevent people from getting old. We can try to prevent people from getting sick though. And here's another example. I wear my helmet when I ride my scooter to prevent my head from getting hurt if I get into an accident.
所以 prevent 就是有防止、预防的意思哦。那文章中意思就是说，他们没有办法防止失去这件事情，只能努力的去接受。So it's a verb here. We can say prevent somebody from doing something. We always say this a lot. 我们就可以说啊 ，the injury prevented him from winning the race. 就是他有受伤，所以没有办法赢得比赛。Or they try to prevent the news from leaking out. 他们试图要把阻止这个消息泄露出去。And we also use the noun prevention as well, which means the act of preventing as well. So you can say the fire prevention or crime prevention, 就是火灾预防啊，或者是犯罪预防。 So accepting loss isn't something that clones have to learn about.
Yeah, accepting loss is, but it's not just for clones, is it? I mean, we all have to do it. As the final sentence in the article says, with this story, Ishiguro is asking us, so that's the readers, to look at how we handle loss in our own lives. So, you know, we're reading about how the clones deal with it, how they deal with not having anyone and having to deal with having their stuff taken away. So a theme is loss. How do people deal with loss? Do they get sad? Do they get angry? Do they kind of deny that it's true? What do they do about it?
Yeah, so we'll just go to our For You chat question today to find out more about that. We can talk about this later.
Continue this idea. Let's go to that now.